and we always used to have our meetings, and then we'd go to the pub. So you guys have solved that. You guys just do the meeting in the pub. So I think that's terrific. I realise this is my first time meeting a number of you. So why don't I just spend the first couple of minutes just introducing myself and my background and who I am, and then I'll talk about my vision for Bennelong. I was born in Australia. I was born in Sydney in 1971. Grew up in Bexley, and went to Kingsgrove Public School and then Perth School, and then I went to grammar. And I have a legal and a business background. So I started practicing law here in Sydney, and I practiced in New York. I worked for the UN for a while at the War Crimes Tribunal. Not that that's particularly relevant to small business.
It is the politics.
It is the politics. And then I came back to Australia, and I got involved in a number of political campaigns in 1999, such as the Republic referendum, and we did the Unity campaign against racism in '98. And then I went to Insurance Australia Group. This is my corporate experience. I was head of their sustainability department, looking at how to turn the insurance industry into a major lobbyist for climate change solutions and community safety. Mainly because everything that goes wrong in your community, it's the insurance companies that pay for it. So the business case around that is very powerful and very, very direct. I took IAG to China, so I became the head of their China strategy. I brought IAG into China. We purchased essentially the NRMA of China, and we were negotiating the purchase of a quarter of China's second biggest insurance company over there, which we signed the deal. It was announced to the market, and then it all went to pieces, as things sometimes do in China. And then after that, I started my own company. They're a corporate advisory firm, which mainly help Aussie companies come into do business and succeed in the Chinese market and in the general Asian market. So really about that connection between Australian businesses and the Chinese economy. So that's a bit about my background. I guess I'm not your normal Labor candidate.
No.
I'm not a unionist. I'm not a political staffer. I come at things from a business perspective and from a commercial perspective, as many of you guys obviously do. So very keen to understand more about your concerns in small business. My father is a small businessman all his life. He's been confronted with a lot of issues where suppliers and creditors have been phoenixed, where he was owed a lot of money. The companies have been phoenixed, they went into bankruptcy and they started up again. Exactly the same premises, exactly the same, just the name of the company changed. And I saw how my dad lost a lot of money over the years through that. So to my vision for Bennelong, I visited Silicon Valley. I went and studied Silicon Valley last year, looking at that ecosystem there. And what I found was this amazing collaboration between Stanford University and was there. These amazing companies that were dotted around. The headquarters of Apple Computer, you had Google, you had Facebook, you had Oracle. But importantly, it was a great place to live. Great houses, big backyards, great schools, great parks. The best workers in the world wanted to live there, not just for the work, because it was a great place to raise your family at the same time. Coming here to Bennelong, I realised this place, physically, looks very, very similar. You've got Macquarie Uni, you've got Macquarie Park and other places as well where there are major companies. You've got the economic dynamism of the small businesses. You've got the CSIRO, and it's a fantastic place to live. It's a beautiful residential community, fantastic parks, great schools, great neighbourhoods. I'd like to see Bennelong, particularly as it's the end of the mining boom, and there is a need to diversify the Australian economy to other sectors, not just mining. I'd like to see Bennelong become like the Silicon Valley of Australia. And what does that mean? What do we need to achieve that? What I saw over there was this culture of innovation, this culture of risk, where to fail was actually okay. Sometimes here in Australia, when you fail, people sort of go, oh, I didn't fail. In America, when you fail, people go, that's great, because you've had a go. It didn't work out, but you've learned. And failure becomes a very positive thing. So there is the cultural aspect, there's also the capital aspect. So those of you in business here probably know it's sometimes very hard to raise capital here in Australia. So how do we get the culture of innovation and the culture of economic dynamism and the capital, how do we bring those things into our community here to create this economic growth and this place for local jobs? The benefit for the small businesses and all the other businesses here, as these jobs, as this electorate becomes the place for economic growth in the future, the overall economic activity, the number of workers and the wealth of those workers will rise with that. That's an overarching and I guess an ambitious vision for Bennelong. I think it's achievable and I'd love to work with all of you to realise that if I'm elected.
Thank you.